Today, some Uber and Lyft drivers walked off the job demanding better wages. Drivers in New York, Los Angeles, Boston, San Francisco, Atlanta, and London held signs and chanted. They want more money, better job security, and fair regulation. The strike comes just ahead of Uber's highly anticipated initial public offering. Our Nate Rodgers caught up with some of the rideshare protesters in Long Island City. Nate?
Bill, New York City's Taxi Workers Alliance leaders called today a day of awakening for millions of drivers.
Driver power! Union power! Driver power! Union power!
About 100 New York City rideshare drivers rallied outside the Uber and Lyft offices in Long Island City Wednesday. Their requests: increased job security, livable incomes, and fair regulations.
I'm paying $500 insurance a month, right? I am paying, my maintenance, my fuel. I'm on the risk on the road.
Yohanan Majan has driven taxis in New York City for nearly 3 decades. He says ride-sharing apps forced him out of business and caused him to lose his taxi medallion. Today, as an Uber and Lyft driver, Nijman says he cannot afford to pay his bill.
Just the other day, I had to write a company and ask them for extension because I cannot pay the bill. You know, before the increase on February 1st, I could make maybe $1,500. Now I'm struggling to make $1,000 a week.
New York City demonstrations begin early Wednesday with drivers logging off rideshare apps for 2 hours during rush hour. Uber says there was no significant impact to service. However, rally leaders call the day historic, saying the app-based companies are leaving thousands of workers in poverty and in despair.
This was a show of force. We know that we shook up Uber and Lyft, and it was a lot of fun to do it on the eve of their IPO.
And finally, Bill, there are more than 85,000 app-based drivers here in New York City. In a statement, Lyft said, quote, "We know that access to flexible extra income makes a big difference for millions of people, and we're constantly working to improve how we can best serve our driver community." Uber said in a statement, quote, "Drivers are the heart of our service, and we can't succeed without them. We'll continue working to improve drivers' experience for and with them every day." In New York, I'm Nate Rodgers for Chasing News.
Thank you, Nate. All right, let's bring in tonight's A-plus panel. We're joined by social commentator Lisa Durden and Matt Rooney, attorney and publisher of the Save Jersey blog. Lisa, I'm going to start with you on this. First of all, the numbers of people showing up didn't surprise me. These guys are out there working hard, hourly wage. But the numbers in New York are higher, not only than the minimum wage, but higher than minimum wage, even if you factor in their cost per hour on their cars.
You know, I agree that they're higher than minimum wage, but do you know what it costs to live in New York? So it's very expensive, and then people don't take into account that when you're driving a Lyft or an Uber, the maintenance of your car is on you. That's a huge bill. Furthermore, once the company goes public, they stand to make like $91 billion. You don't want to cut them off a little Lucci, a little Skrilla, a little dough?
Matt, to that point, I was celebrating today the 1%, because those 1%ers who created this unbelievable company, which has literally made a car service for the rest of us. I mean, think about the lower numbers of drunk driving that eventually are going to come when people take Uber instead of drive home. This seems to me way out of whack, and I think that's why nobody showed up.
If you're working in a job and you can't make enough money at that job, then you go find another job. That's how the free market works, and there's a reason why this business model has not only worked for consumers, but something like 80% of the drivers are apparently part-time. They have another job, and that comports with my experience.
All right, guys, got to leave it there.